I'm playing with a crossbow right now.
My name's Auramaster 101.
And I'm Zero Yeti playing with a crossbow.
And this is our new series, Darkest D&D. I will be playing Darkest Dungeon because personally I feel like this is a game that is very heavily inspired by like old Dungeons and Dragons games. And during this series, me and Zero Yeti will be talking about our past experiences with the game. So let's get into it. If it's gonna skip over the fucking intro cutscene because I had to quit out of the game. Oh well. Okay, so how D&D started for us? We both got into D&D around the same time, right?
Well, you got into it and then watched it.
Right. Just one random Friday night after I was watching American Horror Story with some friends. One of our friends had to leave early because he was going to go play D&D. And I was like, oh, can I come with you seeing as we're practically done for the night? And he was like, sure. So I followed him to where he was doing Dungeons and Dragons, and I watched them play for several hours. And then afterwards, I asked the DM if I could, join. And he said yeah, but I had to take some weird, personality exam, I would put it. And so after doing that, he's like, you can join, but only because you're good. This basically paints you as a wizard. And that's where Chris sort of joined in as well.
Yeah, I went and I watched with you because I had nothing else to do.
Right.
So I went and watched with you. And then I thought it was cool. So I kept showing up. And then me and two other people kept pestering the DM who did not want to add players into adding us. And he's like, well, yeah, because you have to do your work yourself. And he should not have told me that because I was a fucking troll at that point in time. And I just kept scouring shit, and I was obsessed with the Terminator movie for some reason. And we were playing a time travel campaign, and I kept wanting to make the Terminator. He kept getting really angry at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke some people's superstition or something. I remember I got kicked out.
Yeah, and I think you ended up touching somebody's dice, and
yeah,
they weren't really a big fan of that.
Which I understand now that's a big superstition. Don't touch other people's dice unless they tell you to touch dice. Mm-hmm. But then again, I was always the person, later on we started playing games with other people who were in D&D, who would bring in a pile of dice and just let anyone who doesn't have dice use them, no matter who or what dice they were. Because I don't believe in luck like that.
Right. So,
but then again, it's gaming, and everyone has certain superstitions when they're gaming. It's like any game community, you see superstitions. There's a reason Wisconsin people wear the cheese hats, or is certain people do spin around 3 times before they do anything. It's just they think that that's going to help them, and in D&D, all other games, people do that. I never understood that. I was an asshole back then, and just didn't see what the big deal is.
So then what happened after you got kicked out of that campaign, basically?
Yeah, that's how I got kicked out of that game before I even started. But there was another person in that game who was not the best person. But they were. Continue.
We'll just refer to him as Jay for right now.
Anyway, Jay was a bit of a control freak, and he was writing a novel. And he thought the best way to write a novel is to have us play characters in his novel and then write down all we did, which is an interesting idea in theory and probably would have made for an excellent story if anyone else was writing it.
Yep.
Jay did not like not having control over situations, I remember I wanted to play a wizard because I wanted to play Gandalf, and he told me, no, you need to play a healer because no one else is playing a healer, which didn't make me angry at healers. But I remember I played Paladin, and because I was, at this point, kind of angry that I was forced to be a healer, like forced to be something I didn't really want to be. I wanted to be like the spellcaster because we didn't have a spellcaster, but I found out later he had already like secured 2 people who wanted to be spellcasters that knew the game more, and he had plans for them. So I made a fucking bear because I talked him into letting me play a sentient bear. And I made a bullshit. My god had awakened me or something. And I named him John Cena because I was, at this point, I was full of spite.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still wanting to be fun. What I observed from D&D was everyone was being fun. I wanted to be fun. I wasn't taking anything seriously because it was all make-believe at this point, which D&D is make-believe. I don't think anyone should forget that D&D is make-believe. It's fundamentally you're playing pretend, but you can tell powerful stories with that. I just didn't observe any stories being told like that until later when I had a DM that was better equipped to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember playing with them, and I remember playing with a couple people in the party that I became good friends with in game and out of game. I remember I was playing this chaotic neutral insane bear, and Jay had a thing that he would do where if the player, Jay was an adversarial DM through and through. If you didn't stick to what he was wanting you to do, he would try and prevent you from doing it at all costs. Mm-hmm. So it was very much DM versus player. He didn't want to outright kill us. So I made it a point I was going to kill myself and get out of his game. But
please tell the story. Well, let's say that for another time.
Yeah, I'll say that for another time. Let's just say
it was hilarious.
He would, like, every time there was a thing that happened, like, we found out that we could scare people away because there was, like, 2 people who were, like, dragon men, and I was a bear, and we could all roar. And so we were doing that to scare away people. And, like, and that, we made a big dent. There was an encounter where we were facing like 50 minions, and we scared most of them off, so we didn't have to fight them. And so we're like, oh, that's a cool tactic we can do, because we're all hulking like monsters pretty much, with the exception of like the dwarf and the elf. Mm-hmm. Everyone else monster races. And with the dwarf already swinging a great axe all the time, and because we had like a giant, I think the party was like a giant, 2 dragon people, like Dragonborn, a bear, like a Kodiak brown bear, like the 2nd largest bear on Earth. And then we had a dwarf and an elf. And the elf ranger always like just climbed trees for no reason, and then would always try and snap people to gain advantage, and sucked at it. He was so bad at it because he made a ranger that was based on like intelligence and strength.
Ew.
Tried to use a bow. You know who it was. It was C. It was CT.
Oh my god. Why am I not surprised? CT
I remember.
Is another person we'll have to talk about for another installment of this, because oh my god.
But we're just going to give you a brief overview. I don't know how long you want this video. Let's make it 20 minutes.
Okay.
Anyway, we're probably over up to 5 or something.
Oh no, we're at like 9:30 right now.
Okay.
So
anyway, I'm going to finish with this real fast. Anyway, so we met, that's when like the party, like we met, this is where I met the people that would later become the people I actually enjoyed gaming with.
Me, obviously.
Yeah, there was also a guy named T, there was a guy named K, who were playing with me. One of them was a dragon person, one of them was a came in later and they were like this evil necromancer dude. Something weird. Anyway.
Oh, shit.
And it was like, so we intimidate everyone one time, and then no one could be intimidated for the rest of the game. Or we fought one person that was like a cold dragon or something. And the giant was an ice giant, and I was a bear, and so we were resistant to cold damage. And we figured out how to like share our resistances with the party. So we made everyone not take damage from cold. And then we never fought another enemy that had cold damage. Or
yeah,
it was just like that, where like nothing we did seemed to matter because he would always change tactics so that none of your tricks work anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of
shitty. One person made an illusion, like make illusionary terrain, and that tricked one enemy, and then the rest of the enemies could see illusions after that, and it was like, yeah. And it was because we weren't sticking to the script.
Yeah.
We actually made a plan. 3 players made a plan on how to get out of his campaign.
But you wanted to get out of the campaign super fast.
Yeah, my character, who was... I started playing him more and more suicidal the entire time. Because he was already crazy. He was already like Old Man McGuckus. Gravity Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Memories back. I started playing him like that. Where his brain was scramble-doodling like a bunch of eggs. And he made friends with the other 2 characters who like hated the rest of the party. Because it started becoming like the party that was either Jay's pets, like Jay's like teachers' pets, or who were trying to do their thing, but Jay would not let them do it. So we decided to get out of the game because I was in that latter group, and my character started using like the knowledge of the gods to formulate a plan and like this to figure out there's other multiverses, and told the other 2 party members all about it, and then. My character died because they committed suicide, and we'll tell that story again. The other 2 characters used the information from the bear and their own information, because one of them was like super stupidly high powerful because Jay had intended them to be the secret villain all along. And don't ever do that as a DM. Mm-hmm. It comes to bite you back in the ass when the person who's going to be a super evil person alone is like, yeah, no, I'm staying good. And I am opening a portal in reality and just noping out of this situation because I don't like being here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the monster people, like the Dragonborn, was like, yeah, so like my only other friend died last session, so I'm going to go with this guy. And then the elf got involved with it. Then the elf player was like, I don't want to piss off Jay, and so he got sent back to the other some bullshit. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But you were there.
Oh no, I was only there for the end where like T and K like came up from the basement of our dorm and was like, oh man, Jay is so pissed right now. He's throwing things and I'm like, oh my god, what did you guys do?
Yeah.
But to be honest, my campaign wasn't really bad. The DM, his character, he obviously wanted his character to be the big hero, through and through. Like it always seemed like his player character always got like the final hit on almost every boss that we fought, even the final boss. It's something that his girlfriend complained about. Like as soon as like she heard that his character killed the final boss, she's like, "No, this is stupid." And he's like, "Wait, no, don't worry. There's something else coming." And it's like, really? Is there really something else coming? Plus, personally, that campaign wasn't exactly enjoyable for me because I didn't know how to build a character yet.
And like it's how to make a character too.
Yeah, I ended up making my character really like not like stupid as in like low intelligence. And personally to me, I at the time I considered D&D to be very much like a video game. So I decided to go with like all like well-rounded stats. That didn't really help me. I would
Edition at
hmm?
this point in time.
Oh no, we
You
were
were
still
playing for
yeah, I was playing
the
4th
most
edition.
video game when it comes to D&D.
Yeah. The
One of
first
the types of fourth edition I've heard is that it feels too video gamey. And playing as a person who's played first edition, fifth edition, fourth edition, fourth edition was my least favorite, even though first edition was a chore to play, with
right.
just the numbers and all the restrictions and everything. There was still that focus on the narrative. There was still the focus on role playing that you didn't see in fourth edition because everything was like grid based, or you had to have charts to map out all your powers and what y'all wanted to do.
Well, the point is, my first character wasn't very good. He was a Deva wizard. I basically put all of my extra points across all of my abilities instead of dumping them all into intel and just making myself like super tanky against like will based attacks. And I also decided to go with, oh, I'm going to be a summoner wizard, which didn't really help because none of our DMs knew exactly how summons worked. Like we didn't know how many hit points they were supposed to get. We didn't know what their stats were supposed to look like. And
I think the closest thing we ever had to a good summoner was made bad by the player playing it. But remember when we were playing my first D&D session where I ran as a DM, and we had a person who wanted to play summoner. And so I literally threw something together from like parts of wizard and parts of druid.
was this the one that I was in?
Yeah. It was one where it was like a wagon trail, and then you found like a weird temple and stuff like that.
Oh, was that T or
It was with T and B and then like S. And S made the summoner. And she made like a tiefling summoner. And she had her like, I gave her like companions she could summon, but only for a limited amount of time, and they had to have a certain amount of hit points. And once they were gone for the day.
But she never really used them because she was always on her phone, wasn't she?
Yeah. So I let her summon like a hellhound or like a spike demon and then like a tree or something. Like a blight or something.
Well, I think this was a pretty productive first episode. We talked about. Honestly, I didn't think we would take almost 20 minutes to talk about like our beginnings in D&D. But next time, how about we talk about our favorite classes?
Sure.
Okay, so this has been Auramaster 101.
Very good.
Bye.